Good morning. How's everybody this wonderful Monday morning? A little coffee going on this hour of the morning. Hi y'all, I'm Stacy. We are loving my veteran, and this is walking in my shoes. Um, Holiday week coming up for most people. It's going to be busy, interesting, fun time, difficult time, all of the above. So I just want to say good morning, and let's kind of talk about what we're going to do for this upcoming week so that everybody knows where we are and our scheduling and stuff. We'll be doing Walking in My Shoes today, tomorrow, and Wednesday. We're going to take Thursday, Friday off to be with our families. And we'll be back the next Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, the same thing. And then we'll go into January. Um, Coming up in January, I'm really excited. We're going to try to do more theme months so we kind of all know what's going on. January, we're going to talk about self-help, preservation of self, just things to help us get out of that January funk. That's coming up all of January. Um, we've really talked about, Michelle and I talked about this morning. We're going to do a book club. I'll put that book out today and tomorrow, and we'll really start talking about that to kind of read the month of January. It's short, it's thin, so we want to really do that coming into January. Let's see, we have so many new excitements going on. I know that we've welcomed Roxy to the team. She's going to do a lot in our groups for us. So y'all just give her a big shout out and welcome her. I know y'all hear me talk about Michelle. Michelle's been with us since almost the beginning of time. Michelle is my go-to person, right hand. She does everything for me. So give a shout out to Michelle. We have Sharon on board who does fundraising and helping us do that kind of stuff for us. We've welcomed Leah Whitmire to the team. I'm so excited to have Leah. She is, yeah, I am reading your mind, Darren, and today's going to be even better. We're welcoming Leah to the team. She does so much with mental health and mental health advocacy. She is an instructor for mental health emergencies. She's also the spouse of a veteran who has been in a situation with lots of PTSD going on. And she's going to share some insights as to what it's done to her daughter living with that. Most of y'all know, if you've done anything online with us, y'all know Elisa. She is going to start, we're going back to the daytime stuff on Tuesdays, starting the first of the year at 3 Eastern time. And Elisa's going to host that Tuesday midday break. So we'll be able to Zoom and chat in the middle of the week like we need to. So I can't say enough about where we're going and what we're doing. So that's the real quick rundown on where we are. You're going to see a lot of changes and improvements to the website. Please make sure you sign up for that newsletter. I will try to get that out in the next day or two. There's just so much information that has to go in there. If you've not sent your letters, we still have our stuff set up for the 1st of January with Secretary Wilkie, so we can get all of those out there about some issues we're having with the VA. Now that that's done, and I've rattled off a ton, we're going to talk about how we feel invisible. Yeah. So I think that we all struggle with this, that we all go through invisibility. And I've had a real rough weekend with my own overwhelmingness. So I just want you to know that I'm not perfect, and I suffer like everybody else, and I go through depression like everybody else. And, sometimes you just sit back and you have this pity party, like, where was I? Where are all these people who I've helped and I've done and I've done? Where are they now when I need them? I think we all go through that. And especially with our veterans sometimes, we just feel invisible. I know I was talking to Michelle this morning, and we were just talking about some of the overwhelming things that happen. And so when you become that person who's got to schedule the doctor's appointments, right? And you're cleaning up the house, and you're the one who's there for everybody, and you're the one who makes sure that all the paperwork is done, and you're the one who makes sure all the appointments are kept, and you're the one who makes sure that the lunches are packed, and you're the one that makes sure that everybody has clean drawers, and you're the one who does all of that going on in your day. I think sometimes, um, So funny. I'm sorry, I got a message from Pamela. So sometimes we just feel invisible. Where did we go in this? You know, we become so invisible. But it's not just in the life with our veteran. It is in the life with everybody. How many times have you done something just because you're a kind and good person, and you've done something for a friend, or you've done something for a neighbor, or you've done something for family, and then when you need them, and you're struggling, and we go through that, and you are struggling, they're not there. And you're thinking, wait, 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 wait. You're the one who said we're going to be friends, and anytime you need anything, just let me know. And so, you know, you're in need, and then they go away, and it's like, whoa, 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 whoa. Excuse me. What about all those times? And so we become so totally invisible at times that we just feel like we don't matter, and nobody sees us. That comes in a two-part situation. One, we can't control other people, so can't control what they do to us. But it is overwhelming when you continue to give, and you continue to give, and you continue to do for other people, and you get nothing in return when you're at your lowest. And I experienced that this weekend. I've had, like I said, a terrible weekend, and I am going to say this. Y'all know I've said this before in a different light, but I will absolutely say this. I was not suicidal. I was just super overwhelmed. I texted, which was strange to me because I've always said that was a dumb idea. I texted the crisis line. Now, can I please tell you, that was the most amazing thing I ever did. Texting the crisis line. Look, I don't have to have a personal relationship with these people. I can just tell them what's going on, and they listen. And for about 40 minutes, that woman listened to what I had to say and acknowledged and responded what I had to say. So I will take back anything I said about calling and pressing one or texting when you're in a crisis. Texting was amazing, and the veteran crisis line was absolutely fabulous. So just putting that out there for you. But we become overwhelmed. We become invisible. It happens, and I'm just telling you, it sucks. And so we're like, what about me? I'm sitting right here. You know, I'm the one who's right here. What about me? Hold on. And it's not that you're being self-centered. It's not that you're being greedy. It's not that you're being needy. It's that we live in a world, well, at least I live in a world where I expect when I do something for people, I don't do it expecting something in return, but I just feel like we're a community that should pay things forward. And so when I've done stuff for people, I just expect, or I guess I thought that when I needed it, I would get it back in kind. Well, it didn't happen that way. And that's special. The other thing that we do is by becoming such the doer for everybody, we become the enabler. Okay, that's just what happens to us. We become the enabler. And let's just start from something non-veteran related. So my kids are grown. I have grown kids, and they're in their 30s, but their whole life it's been, Mom, I need, I don't have groceries today. I don't have this. I don't have that. I don't have this. And so Mom was like, I really said that I was going to have ATM tattooed across my forehead, because I just felt like there were times that I was just doling out, giving, 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 giving. And then when I need something, even if it's emotional, it's like, oh, I'm too busy. And so I was like, oh, I'm kind of hurt. And then I sat back yesterday and I thought about what I did to my own mother. I was forever picking up the phone and calling my mom. I'm having a crisis. I'm having this. I'm having that. Right. And it would go on and on and on and on and on. Right. That I'm having this or I'm having that. And Mom, I need you. And so emotionally, I was just sucking this life out of my mother, who at the time was dealing with my father, who had mesothelioma, and we knew it was terminal, and we knew it would be probably a year, 2 years. So my mom is going through all this, right, and radiation, and running my dad back and forth, and I'm going, Mama, somebody hurt my feelings today, right? And so then my mom would listen to me, and she became this enabler to me. Or I would call her, Mom, I don't have money for this, I don't have money for that. And she'd always give it to me. Her and my dad would always give it to me, even as a grown up. And one day, my mom said, no, I don't care if you don't have lights. I don't care if you don't have a car payment. I don't care if you have this. I don't care if you have that. And it was tough love. And all of a sudden it made me go, whoo, right? So we tend to enable people by doing this. You know, we do it with our veterans. We do it with our friends. We do it with our family. We do it to all these people because we are just the fixer type people. That's what we are. We're that nurture. Oh, don't worry about doing that today. We'll take care of it. So how you stop this? It's no secret, first marriage way back when in the days, he was a drug addict. I enabled that. I didn't go out and buy the drugs for him, right? I didn't go out and put the cocaine and cut it up and put it on the table in front of him. No, I didn't do any of that. But by not making him accountable for his actions, by covering it up to his family, by making excuses for the abuse that went on, by taking it in my head that I made these excuses, I enabled that behavior. And so we become invisible because we become this enabler. As long as you're doing stuff for everybody, why do it yourself? I mean, come on now. Think about it. I just got through watching The Crown, which was incredible. But y'all, like the queen be standing there getting her stuff on. She doesn't even put her own clothes on. She got somebody who's putting her pantyhose on for her, who, while she's talking, is putting her clothes on, buttoning her up, and she just stands there like she expects it. I don't think the Queen of England could even put her own clothes on if she had to. She has what they call it, a dresser. You know, to me, a dresser is that thing that holds my clothes. Nope. To the Queen, it is somebody who puts her clothes on for them. So they really have enabled her to live that lifestyle, you know? And how do you put your own... Girl doesn't even know how to put her pants on one leg at a time. I'm just saying. But as long as somebody does for you constantly, why do it yourself? As long as you do for people constantly, what do they have to do for themselves? Now think about that. If we had somebody do for us constantly, why would we do for ourselves? I think about, if I ever win the lottery, I'm having somebody wash my hair in that little bowl every day because that is like the greatest feeling ever. So if I won the lottery, I would be totally enabled by the girl who I paid to wash my hair that I would never learn to wash my hair again. So we do that. We do that with our veterans. We do that with so many people, and we have to learn to get that enabling out of the way, because when we enable, we become invisible. Right? When we enable, we become invisible. So let's talk about this. How do you do this with your veteran? How do you do this with your kids? How do you do this with people who do truly need you? You got to differentiate between what is life-threatening, life-sustaining, and needy. All right? What is life-threatening, life-sustaining, and needy. So, example. Let's say that you have renewal paperwork that you have to do to certify their benefits, they're going to re-rate their disability. You got a housing voucher that's coming up. You've got a caretaker thing that's coming up, and you need information from them, and they've kind of checked out. Okay, that's life-sustaining. Without that money, without that voucher, without your care, whatever it is, that's life-sustaining. That's on you. You might have to do that. If you want to live the lifestyle and you need the money to pay your light bill and you got to have the roof over your head, you may have to be the one who does that even when they kind of check out. Right? That is kind of a thing you have to take on. Now, let's say they're going to therapy and they choose not to participate in that therapy. And, okay, we can give them these ultimatums, but at the end of the day, they're still the one who has to go. They may go, but if they're not participating in that therapy, then even if they go, they've checked out. And a lot of it now is telemed. And so you're like in the queue, and whoever pops up next, like when you call somewhere and they're like, You have 6 people ahead of you. Can you imagine calling your counselor, right, for a telemed thing, and them say, you have 10 people ahead of you. Please hold the line. I mean, that's kind of depressing, first of all, like you don't matter. But the bottom line is, if they don't talk to them, who's that on? They're already feeling they're not engaging in it anyway, so are you really getting an advantage out of this therapy that they're not engaging in that's coming on the queue? You're 12 in line. And if they don't go, whose problem is that? Yours or theirs? Theirs. Right? Simple. Same thing with you know dinner, dishes, whatever. Okay, so say that you do the laundry fine and you want them to put their clothes in the hamper and they don't. Step over them, leave them. And when they're running around naked, whose problem is that? Theirs or yours? When you go behind them and say to them and pick up the clothes and then 20 minutes later you bitch because they didn't pick the clothes up, right? We are enabling them. When they run around naked, there you go. So you have to pick what is life-threatening, life-sustaining, and enabling, and there's a huge difference. Huge difference. I know that most of us have been poor and thing at our time, and we've had our stuff come up, and we've all struggled at some point in our life because, that's just the way life is, right? So we've struggled. So here we are, and we're struggling up in our life. How many times have you ever had lights cut off? So your kid calls you now and is like, Mom, you're going to cut my lights off. Oh, okay. We sat in the dark. We did that. Why don't you have money for your lights? Well, we went to McDonald's and then we've had to do this, we've had to do that. Okay, it's $7. $7 for a Happy Meal. Or for a meal at McDonald's. 7 to 10. Now, I mean, we used to be able to get them for like 39-cent cheeseburgers, but it's like $7 for a Big Mac meal. If you can go to McDonald's and get your Big Mac, right, or you can go get name brand hot dogs, or you can go buy ground chuck. I'm just putting it out there. Then there's a way to pay your lights. That's the way it works in the real world with kids. I can remember David when he first moved out, and I felt bad for him, and so I took him grocery shopping, right? And we're walking through the store, and we get to the frozen pizza aisle. Well, here goes David. He wants the DiGiorno Rising Crust Supreme Pizza at $6.99. I looked at him and I said, no. But Mom, that's what we always eat. I said, no, that's what Mom eats on Mom's budget. What budget do you have? Well, I don't have any money. I said, good. You see the 69-cent Totino's or Tony's or the IGA pizza? That's what you get. Put it in there. But Mom, no, that's Mom's budget. You want food, I'm getting you food. And so he just kind of looked at me like, how often do we do that? How often do we do that? I'll get you food. I'll get you food, but you're going to get the hamburger helper and the cheap hamburger meat. You're not getting a T-bone. That's the way it works in the real world. So when you do that, you're enabling that behavior. And it took me a long time. My kids are in their 30s. It probably wasn't until last year that I stopped enabling them. Mom, I need, okay, here you go. We enable people. Same thing with our veterans, with our family, with our friends. I really need you. Okay, I'll be right there. And your friend calls, I'm having a crisis, I need you. I'll be right there. Right? And so you got 20 loads of laundry to do. The family's coming over for dinner. You got all this going on, but your friend has a crisis, so you drop what you're doing and you go over there. Right? Okay. And I'm not saying we shouldn't be there for our friends. Right? But it's not like their mother died, right? It's like, I need you. What do you need? Well, the washing machine overflowed. Well, great. Mine does too. I'm lucky to get the clothes in it. So you pick and choose where you're doing it because we allow ourselves to become invisible to people by enabling people. People don't appreciate us because we're always the people who do it. Things just appear. Dinner just happens. Happy Monday, Michelle. Dinner just happens. Things just do. And when the magical stuff just happens and just does, nobody appreciates it. You become invisible. So how do you become uninvisible? You put value on you. You put value on what you're doing. You put value on what's going on. You pick and choose what you're going to conquer today in what is life-threatening, life-sustaining, or needy. Pick and choose your battles. That's how you become uninvisible. When you do for everybody all the time, you lose your value and you become invisible. I know that sounds strange. I'm not saying you should give up your kind, giving heart. I'm not saying that you shouldn't help others. I'm not saying that you shouldn't be there for a word of encouragement. I'm not saying that when your friend is down and you know they're broke and you want to Venmo them, PayPal them, Cash App them, whatever, money to get through the day, that you don't do that. What I'm saying is, don't become invisible. Because they're needy doesn't make you the person who has to fix it. Take that with your spouses, with your children, with your parents, with your friends, with your employer. You're paying me to work 40 hours a week. I'm going to work 40 hours a week. Not 45. I'm not going to stay late 15 more minutes because you want to get a project done. If you want this project done, then you should have brought it to me 15 minutes earlier. Or I'll finish it in the morning. Because you need to check out. Or you're going to pay me time and a half. One of the, those are your options. Worst mistake you can ever make is working a salary job. I mean, it's really not, but when I worked salary jobs, it was like, oh, but you're salaried. Yeah, but I'm not salaried at 180 hours a week. I mean, there's 168, and I felt like I was working 180 of them because it was take advantage of it. It was well, you're salaried. I am. But I took that salary based on working 40 hours a week. I took that salary based on the fact that some weeks I'd work 50 and some weeks I'd work 30. Not that every week I'm going to work 60. So those boundaries that we set and stop allowing ourselves to become invisible. We have to stop allowing ourselves to become invisible. I go back to people being able to do for themselves and being able to push themselves and do for themselves. I am perfectly capable, and the words that we use a lot in our house is, I have two legs. Like, so I'll say something, Carl, hey, you want me to fix this for you? I got two legs. Or he'll say something, you want me to get, I have two legs. So there are times that I forget to take my medicine. And in the very beginning, and Carl is a fanatic about my health. And so he's like, did you do this? Did you do this? Did you take this? Did you do this? And my mom and him kind of had a conversation about, you have to stop enabling her. And so now he's like, now I know yesterday my kids were here and we were doing like gingerbread houses, and he walked over to me because it was past time and he set them on the table for me to take just because I was busy. But now he'll look at me and say, did you take your medicine? Oh crap, I need to go get it. It used to be that he would go get it and bring it and set it down for me. And sometimes he still does. But now he's brought back to this accountability. Do you take your medicine? No. Don't you think you need to go get it? And so it takes that invisibility away. It makes you accountable. I have two legs. I can walk and pick up my own medicine. I need to. And I think that's just something we have to start setting those boundaries. They're part of boundaries, but it's part of to stop that enabling. We enable people to do this to us. And it comes from, especially women, it comes from, we have this inbred, some weird genetic thing. I don't know if it came from the way it was just inbred into our hormones, if it's deeply in our soul, or if it came from, Eve eating the apple. I don't know where it came from, right? I don't know where that part came from, but we have this desire to be the caregiver. We have this desire to be the caregiver. Um, yeah, and accountability has to work both ways. But when we take away their accountability, right? Because we have this desire to be the fixer. We are the person, oh, I got that, don't worry about it. I'll take care of that, don't worry about it. I can do that for you. I can do that for you. And then we're overwhelmed, right? It's like you're carrying this load that you just can't carry. You can't carry it anymore. Because that's just like in our nature. It's just what we do. We want to fix and we want to handle it. And I think part of it is because we have this desire to feel needed. But when we become too needed, we become invisible. So you have to learn to say no to the things that are not life-saving, life-threatening, right? Or life-sustaining. If you can learn to say no to those and put them on the back burner and let them sit for a little bit, you're going to find your life is better. Somebody else is going to pick up their dirty clothes or their socks and put them in the hamper. I mean, that's just the way it works. And when we become this, I'm going to do it all, Lisa's right, we neglect ourselves. And we find, and this is so going into what we're going to talk about in January, we neglect ourselves because we've done it all, we're overwhelmed, we're carrying this rock of a burden that we're not taking care of ourselves, and we don't have self-preservation. And then all of a sudden we become unfulfilled, sad, depressed. We lose who we are because we are the fixer. You can't fix some things. And some things don't need to be fixed. I'm sorry, and I don't mean this in an ugly way, and I use the analogy of laundry because I remember early on in my marriage to Woody, so this has been, probably 20 plus years ago. I remember that counselor saying to me, that marriage counselor saying to me, does it bother you that the socks are next to the couch, to the chair where he takes them off? Yes, it does. Does it bother him? No. Well, you have two choices. You can pick them up or you can step over them. And I remember learning to step over them. That was like the hardest thing I had to do, was learning to step over them. And I am telling you, I think I've told you all this story before. When he walked out the door, I had the Febreze or the Lysol, whatever it is, and I sprayed that pile of socks for a long time. But one day he came to me and he was like, where are my socks? And I looked at him and I said, what am I supposed to wear to work? And I took two dirty ones up and I handed them to him. I said, here. Well, why aren't they washed? Why aren't they in the hamper? And I walked off. Right? And that was the first sense in that totally controlling relationship that I've been in, and then was dumb enough to stay in, but whatever, that I learned about accountability. I wasn't accountable to get his socks to the hamper. I may have been the one who was accountable to wash them, but it wasn't my job to get them in the hamper. So sometimes we have to get out of our comfort zone about being the fixer, and you have to let certain things happen. And when you do, you will become empowered again, and you will become less invisible. You will find yourself. That's the toughest part. And you will find that. And that is so there. And when you stop doing all of this, I hear so many spouses say, well, I do this and 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 I'm giving him, and we all do it. I'm giving him this and this and this and this and this, but when I need him, he doesn't. Because you know what? He doesn't know that you need him because you've done everything. So if you want that back, stop being invisible to him. You're invisible. You're just the person who miraculously the dinner appears, the laundry is done, the bills are paid, whatever it is you do. You're that miraculous person. And yes, we tend to enable out of love, but when we enable too much, we are causing harm and not helping. And I'm not saying anything that we didn't already talk about this morning. So Michelle and I've had this conversation this morning. We both talked about it. We enable out of love. I mean, come on. I had the junkie $2,000 a week cocaine addict. I enabled him. I enabled him. I did it. It was horrible, and I had a horrible marriage and a horrible 4 years, and other thing that came out of it great were my 2 children, but the horrible everything. But you know what? At the end of the day, did I deserve the mental abuse? Nope. I did not deserve the mental abuse. Did I deserve the physical abuse? Nope. But when I wouldn't go to my mom and daddy's for a week because I had a black eye, I enabled that behavior. When I didn't call the police, I enabled that behavior. When I didn't call the spousal, victim support line, I enabled that behavior. Because I went back and did it time and time and time and time again. So what did he have to do? Nothing. He wasn't accountable for a darn thing. And we do it over and over again. We do it because we don't make people accountable. We do it because we do it all. We do it because we enable. We enable. And when we do it all and we do this, we enable, we become invisible. You know? It is as if we have taught people how not to see us by enabling. And you're right. We become invisible because of that. We become invisible because of that. I look at my own personal struggles, and I had a pity party this weekend. Yeah, that post that I posted was real. Yeah, at one time you were a huge enabler and he loved it. And I'm going to tell you, when you stop enabling, it's going to be the toughest few weeks, months, whatever you've ever been through. But if you want your relationship to survive, if you want your mental sanity to survive, if you want to come out of this surviving and be you, you got to deal with it. It's going to be tough. I'm here to tell you, because I'm sure Nikita will tell you. When she stopped enabling, it was not a pretty well time in her house. But now, her Richard, she doesn't enable him. They love each other through it. And it's a big difference. And now his health is where she needs to take care of him, but she doesn't resent that. When you enable, you develop resentment. You becoming invisible, you develop resentment. And, you know, we so often, and I say this so much, PTSD is very hard. It is very hard to live with. It is very hard to navigate through. There is no doubt. But a lot of this, the invisibility, the enabling, we do it outside of PTSD. We do it in relationships with our friends. We do it in relationships with our family. We do it in relationships with our kids. We do it in relationships with our bosses. And we're doing it with our spouses. That's not a PTSD thing. That's an us thing. Is it complex because of the PTSD sometimes? Yes. But that's where we have to, and we enable, a lot of times, we enable certain actions because we allow PTSD to make us that enabler. Oh, he's acting this way because he's been through so much. He has PTSD. I'm sure he's in his head, or I'm sure it's a moment. Sometimes it is. Sometimes it's not. So PTSD isn't an excuse. Are there things that they absolutely cannot do with that? Is there certain things that they don't function well with? Is there certain stuff? Yes. But we navigate through those. And we learn what their restrictions truly are and what we've enabled them to do. And there's a huge difference in that. So while we're going into this, just coming up 2 weeks, y'all try to enjoy your holidays. There's a thing we're going to talk about tomorrow. I actually got it from Dale Thomas, who pops in on here a lot. It's 6 things your veterans want you to know about the holidays. Well, there's also 6 things we'd like them to know about the holidays too. We're going to talk about both of those. But I want y'all to have a blessed holiday. Just work on the not enabling. Think about that. Because as we start into January, we're really going to talk about the skills of how to stop the enabling. The skills on how to make self-preservation better. The getting out of our funk. We're all going to be in a funk. And I just need y'all to know that. We're all going to be in a funk at time. We're all going to go through depression at time. It does not mean you're crazy. It means you're normal. So let me just back up and say that. I know we're running late. I do this a lot lately. Depression is okay. We all get in a funk. We all feel overwhelmed. It does not make you crazy. It does not make you mental. It makes you human. Just always remember that. So we're going to get through these times coming up together. We're going to move on and get in January and really start talking about our well-being. Our well-being. That's important. In order for us to have a healthy relationship with or without PTSD, we have to get our well-being straight, and that takes time. All right, so let me just wrap things up with where we are. Again, we will be doing this again tomorrow and Wednesday. We're going to take Christmas Eve and Christmas Day off, and then we'll be doing it next Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. We'll take New Year's Eve and New Year's Day off. Little family time, little downtime for us. And we've got lots of major reworking to do. There's some links coming out I need to put up for y'all. If you have not done the newsletters, gone to the website and signed up for the newsletter, please do that. I think we have that we have to address. Sharon has outdone herself in doing the GoFundMe. It's a gift-giving thing. Just a heads up, we are a nonprofit in Georgia, but we need that 501c3 as a federal level to be able to get donations to keep programs like these running. And for a nonprofit, it is actually very expensive to file that. And like I said, we run off of nothing here. There is nothing. So there is a GoFundMe. We know this is a tough time financially, but if you got $1, if everybody who likes paid had $1, we would be well at our goal to be able to make this the nonprofit so we can go further and provide more resources. All of these people I welcome to the team are all volunteers. They volunteer their time. None of us get paid for this. So we all volunteer our time for this because it is so important. So I just want everybody to know that. But if you go to that little thing about holiday giving, and share that with your friends and family and other spouses, if this is working for you, please share that. Like I said, every dollar helps. It will help us get to that goal so that we can get we have the corporate people saying, hey, we'll give you this, but we need that 501c3. And we're like, we don't have it yet. So, we have so many places we can go financially as an organization to be able to provide more and a broader range of help if we had that. So that's kind of where we are today. Again, Nakia is doing some amazing stuff on our group as well. She's sharing her stories. It is so incredible. She has been the greatest sense of help for me the past 2 days. I laugh jokingly and tell her I'm going out to get some more plates. She'll know what that means. But it has been incredible, the people who've come forward and said, we're going to help, because this community is so empowering. All right, y'all have a blessed day. I will see you tomorrow. There's a lot of stuff coming up I'm going to work on. I'm kind of looking forward to the holidays where I have this downtime to be able to get things where they need to be because we rolled so fast coming into this. Have a blessed day. I will see you all tomorrow. I'm Stacy. This has been Walking in My Shoes, and we are loving my veteran. Y'all have a blessed day. Bye.